and welcome back to the Scions of the Summit dev playthrough. I've actually been trying to mess with the audio settings a little bit because I've noticed I'm a little bit quiet. Probably because I'm trying not to just like cough into the mic. But hopefully these settings will make my voice stand out a little bit more compared to the game. Anyways, we're going to be moving on to chapter 2, and this is a bit of a long one, so I'm probably going to use this chapter to talk a little bit more about just dev perspective, as well as a lot of other things that went into the game, so hopefully that'll be enjoyable, so you're not just watching me just kind of maneuver around the map and taking forever to, to beat the boss and everything. I will also make note that since I'm playing this in succession, a lot of these portraits are not going to be changed in between and getting fixed. We'll see. Probably not going to be until we get the next batch from Retro Gamer. So unfortunately, we're going to have a couple issues, especially with Astria's portrait, since we'll be showing off some of her supports in the upcoming parts. She's also in this cutscene, so hopefully it's not too distracting for right now. But anyways, let's get to it. It's the first chapter that we get to change up the formation a little bit. So we're actually going to be getting 2 new characters in this chapter. One is going to join us automatically on turn 1. Then one that's going to be coming around over here. Might not be particularly obvious that the character is playable right now, but I'll showcase what you're supposed to do for this. Anyways, let's just kind of move things around, do a little bit of item management. I'll make sure that Astria has the throwing axe that we got earlier. Just gonna want to give Feline a couple things. Actually, we'll hold up on the smite, just because she can't use it yet. Don't have the torch right now. So, Yosuke is probably gonna need more beers. Take the one from Astria, probably because she won't really be needing it much. I'll take the Regin for you. Actually, hold off on this because we don't want her to be in too much combat right now. Actually, I'll give this to Astria. Yeah, hopefully we don't have Feline getting too much combat. That shouldn't be too big of a deal. I'm actually gonna leave the chest key here, and there's a reason why. It has to do with stealing items, and for whatever reason, and I actually didn't talk about this in the previous parts, where we actually do have an item split in this game, so you only get 3 slots for weapons and 2 slots for items, so it's going to include things like vulneraries as well as, again, like the red gem here, or even accessories. They're going to be in purple here. So it's kind of a little bit like Tellius with those. I'm just going to mess around with the formation here because I do want it a very specific way that I'm going to be doing this map. And I am going to show off a couple of the extra things here and there that I want to do. Actually, it's because I'm going to have Ryosuke come down this way. So there's a character over here, Sophia, that is going to be moving down here, and we're going to try to steal an item from her. Hopefully we'll be able to get it in time. Normally I'm good about doing that, but we'll see. Again, I'm not super perfect at this, but anyway, let's get this started. So there's a lot going on with this map. As you notice, we have a new character here. This is Crispin, and as shown in the cutscene, he does have a skill called Coerce. This does not work on bosses, which would cause a couple problems down the line where you need to actually defeat bosses. But this is actually pretty useful if you're having a little bit of trouble dealing with certain enemies. Again, it's a very high charge, just because we don't want people to be cheesing the maps or anything. But anyways, as we noticed, there was this character over here. Her name is Joanna. She's actually in this little area, so we're going to be coming after her to save her. And as you notice, there's a couple of different little chests here. We unfortunately don't have these are basically supposed to be stalls, essentially. And so we're going to be saving them from the pirates. We don't really have proper tile sets for stalls, so unfortunately this will have to do for now. Anyways, like I said, I'm going to be using this time to talk a little bit more about the game. Hopefully I'm not getting too distracted by what needs to be done here. Actually, let me check, because I probably should switch out for the convoy, actually. The reinforced blade. I'm going to trade this here. And we're going to attack this guy with the restrainer, which is going to put him in place for that one turn. The boss over here, again, as mentioned, the philosophy of this game overall is just that there's a lot of extra things that you really don't need to do. You don't have to fight this character to get to Joanna, but again, we do want to grab her, and it's just the easiest way to deal with this. But if you really wanted to just skip through everything, you could just go in to each of these little stalls, and that'll end the chapter. But again, because this is a dev playthrough, I do want to show off everything this game has to offer. So anyways, we're going to be moving down this way, and I'm just going to try to get a couple things done here so that I'm not super distracted, I guess, when I'm attempting to talk about a lot of the mechanics in the game. But as mentioned, we're going to be moving down this way just to get to Sophia before she leaves. I believe at the end of, let's see, after turn 7 or so. I always forget. And even though I'm one of the devs, I don't remember every little thing about the game. So actually I'm gonna go this way and then have the throwing axe here because we don't want Astria to not do stuff next turn. Let's move. Let's go down this way. It's fairly slow, but he does do quite a bit of damage overall. I'm gonna try to get enough hits in with Feline so that she can get a lot of weapon EXP. But anyways, while we're moving up here and letting this guy come over, it's probably gonna die to these guys. We don't want him to get in the way here. Just wanna get rid of some of these guys first. But this guy's gonna be coming over here to attack this little village here again. It doesn't seem very obvious because normally these would just be something you stand on, but it is technically a village. But anyways, moving down this way. Again, I did want to talk a little bit about several of the mechanics of this game, or just a lot of the general philosophy of the game, just so that people kind of understand what to expect for future updates. Like I mentioned before, we are only 10-ish, I guess, chapters into this game. Actual 10 proper chapters and 3 guidance chapters, which are mostly just dialogue for right now. But again, it's kind of what we have. We're currently hard at work with several of the other chapters, and hopefully we'll be able to get up to the summit section probably next year. It's going to be going up to, I want to say it's chapter 16, quote unquote, and we are hopefully going to be having the first chapter, I guess we could call it that, for each route, which is technically a summit map. And I do want to talk a little bit about the route split, because one of the important things about this game is that we do in fact have a route split. So as you've noticed, there are 3 countries that we mentioned early on that do have a blessing, and so since our country is missing out on theirs because the goddess can't actually take care of all countries at once, because there's only one right now. And so what we're doing is we're attempting to talk with a bunch of different representatives at the summit. And what's going to happen is that by the end we talk to all the people who can help us, and we'll be deciding who we work with, and it's really going to depend on our actions throughout the game. And so if you can really tell from that, there's going to be ways to unlock certain routes. Only one of the routes technically is going to be unlockable from the very beginning. I won't say which one for right now because that's kind of a spoiler. But hopefully I'll be able to figure it out once we get to that point. Actually, let me try to deal with this guy right now. I don't want to be using the restrainer too much, actually, just because there's other uses for it. I just want to be able to get Ryosuke all the way over here. Check what turn it is, actually. Oh, we're actually doing pretty good time right now. Sure. That actually helps quite a bit. But anyway. Like I was saying, there's 3 routes, and so 2 of them are not going to be unlocked automatically, and there are certain things that you're going to want to do to unlock them. And you'll kind of figure out slowly maybe at least one of those things, because it might be a little bit more obvious, especially because of the fact that we are, I guess the best way to put it is that there's little hints, like in red, as you noticed before, that's kind of telling you what you have to do for certain chapters, and we'll get to that soon enough. So sorry about that. I had to step away for a second for a phone call, but hopefully remember where we were. I was talking a little bit about the route splits earlier, but again, I don't want to go too heavy into the spoilers just yet, because it's kind of a big deal right now. And I don't want to be again, not spoiling too much right now. But anyway, like I said, this particular village does have an item on it. Doesn't seem very obvious right now. We're actually running a little bit on the lower end with a couple of items, but as you can see, there's shops here. I don't want to put everybody in range right now. Just want to deal with these guys before the next wave of reinforcements comes in a few turns, so let's deal with these guys while we can. Let's see. Just make sure that I'm not in range of some of these other enemies. Don't use up too much of the Pokemons right now. Just make sure that everybody's healed up as well, because again, there's a lot of enemies that are coming in. Just make sure everything ready to go, and so just make sure. It might be a little bit early on this, but we'll see. So what we're going to do is steal from the book, and we actually got a little bit of a secret conversation for doing this. And it's very possible that she'll attack him, which is it's gonna be a little bit of a problem, but I'm gonna wait it out. I'll get him out of here on the next turn. Just move these characters over here. Yeah, so she's gonna attack him. So we're actually one turn a little early, but it does show that there's a little bit of leeway there with what you can do. So I'm gonna heal Ryosuke because we actually have the area plans here. So we can actually heal him up. Use the relief staff. Let's start moving characters down this way. It's gonna take a little bit to actually get everyone in position anyways. But should be fine for now. I believe it's this next turn. Yeah, so now we're going to be getting reinforcements after this. And these guys over here, some of them do have crit weapons. We do actually have the calm staff that Queen is using if we really need it. I try not to use it and keep it reserved for certain bosses, like this character right here. Yakov, and we'll look more at him once we're actually going to start fighting him off. So these guys are going to take a little while, so I'm going to make sure which ones have the... Let's see, I think it's this guy. Yeah, he has one. There's another character over here. I think it's this guy over here. So these two have the crit weapons that we're a little bit more worried about. And hopefully this is not going to be too big of an issue. Just want to get rid of these guys right now before they cause any problems. So, hold off one. That's here. Probably not gonna have Ryosuke. That's fine, actually. Just make sure that everybody's healed up properly. So probably not gonna use some of these characters for this onslaught. It's mostly gonna be Astria face tanking a lot of these guys, just to kind of be able to deal with them before they become an issue. Yeah, we'll do this here. what I'm gonna do actually is this guy over here is has some problems, but I just want to get rid of several of these enemies while I have the chance. Might have to back up a little bit, but we'll see. It's probably the more... Okay, that's a problem. So, we're gonna move back a little bit. Don't like when stuff misses. Oh, that's probably why. Have everything properly set up. That's a problem, but we can fix it. So yeah, these guys are going to be the bigger problem here. Probably do is it's not that far away. So this guy here can probably survive a hit. This might be a little tricky. Just because we have a lot of these enemies here. Attack certain people, so hold off a little bit. Yeah, this might be a little bit tricky. Let's see. Okay, that's helpful. So what I can do over here actually is use the clone staff on this guy, right? Just for the sake of showcasing this a little bit, because I don't really use it too much right now. But basically this is gonna keep him from hurting us. Just want to get rid of these two right now. Let's see. I didn't have them cause too many problems for me. That's a really good level up for Crispin. So yeah, these two are my main issues, but I'm gonna take them off of that because I don't want to be in the boss's range. So what I'm gonna do here is get rid of this guy. Actually, I probably didn't even need to use the calm stuff, but just to showcase what you could do. So probably gonna attack here and get rid of this. Is gonna be a tiny issue, I think. Actually, that won't be too big of a deal, I think. Probably do a lot of damage to her, but just want to make sure that Feline is not in range of any of these enemies. Okay, I think this should be fine. Okay, so I think we're safe for right now. Yeah, we're good. So that's probably the most dangerous part of the map at the moment. I'm not going to be grabbing any of this stuff just yet. We'll do that a little bit later. So what we're going to do is kind of move into position to deal with the boss, and it's going to take a couple of turns to get there. Trying to think what else we can talk about in the meantime. Just in terms of, I guess, the dev perspective that I haven't really talked about much. I guess I can talk a little bit about supports and just where I am in terms of writing, just because it's not something that I really talk about too much, or at least have the opportunity to talk about. And right now we're actually pretty far into, I guess, the development in terms of the writing process. So even though we're only this early on into the game, where it's pretty much just these first 13 chapters, I have written all the way up until the summit, and I have started working on our first route. So again, all that stuff is already in the makings, which is very nice to have all that stuff ready to go before we plan to actually put it in the game, because it's just gonna take a lot of time. Like, the writing process just takes a lot, and sometimes I'll sit back and do like one support conversation, maybe like per day, because I do a lot of other writing, like hobbyist writing on the side. But otherwise, it usually takes again quite a while to finish up the writing portion of the game. And so even things like the main story itself, it really depends on how inspired I am for I guess that particular day that I'm writing. And sometimes I'll be able to finish like maybe half or even like almost a full chapter in a day. Again, it's not very common that it takes me that short of time, but especially for certain chapters where I'm not as entirely sure what I'm doing in terms of the dialogue, because I have my notes and everything, but once you actually sit down to write a lot of the work, it doesn't always end up being super easy, I think. And so I spend a lot of time making adjustments, and as you noticed, going back to previous chapters just to fix up dialogue that I'm not happy with. And again, that's kind of what happened with chapter 8, where I wasn't very happy with the final product, and so I ended up making a lot of changes to the dialogue just because, well, you'll see when we get there. But there's several reasons as to why exactly I decided to make those changes, especially because certain characters are going to be coming back later on in the narrative. But I will say that where I am currently with the narrative is that, as mentioned, I've already written all the way up until the summit chapter. There's a couple of like in-battle stuff that I haven't done, because that's usually the last thing that I do for writing. So I just do a lot of the main dialogue first, and then touch up on everything else afterwards. So actually my process is more write a chapter, finish that up, and then go move on to support conversations, because one of the I guess, draws to the Fire Emblem series for me was that I really love support conversations, right? It's probably one of my favorite mechanics in the series, and I love a lot of like romance stuff, and not all of the support conversations are going to be romantic in nature, and that's something also to keep in mind, is that some of these supports, even if they do end up in A, or up to A, they might have a paired ending, but they're not necessarily going to be romantic in nature. It's some of them are going to be platonic, but even so, I I do plan to write several, and probably around like 450. That's the plan. That's what I've pretty much gotten to up with this, or at least like that's the estimate that I've gotten. Right now I've written close to 200 as of right now, so and I'll get into that a little bit more as we fight the boss, but I do want to point out right now, again, we have the calm staff here, and it's going to be very useful fighting against this character, because as you noticed, his weapon has a lot of crit rate, and he also has this over here, additional crit chance and crit damage. He has this thing called Cleave, which is going to be doing a lot of damage. I know that I did several spaces, and you'll see where it does that because he's blinking right now, but some people kind of get caught off guard with this character. So what I'm going to do actually is stand here and use the calm staff on him. It's going to make this boss fight way easier. And this fight actually used to be a little bit harder in the original demo that we had, and that's something else I haven't talked about yet, is that the tenacity system is what replaced our initial idea of using basically like the engage multiple health bar system, and we call them like the fruit gushers, I guess. That's I guess the colloquial term for those. But yeah, those they were causing, I guess, a couple problems with things like the boss quotes not, or rather the death quotes not showing up properly, so that was kind of an issue. And also, this system's a little bit more interesting overall, I think, comparatively. I know there's plans to make some changes anyways to the system at some point, or at least add more things overall. But again, like the plan is very much to make this experience a little bit more unique comparatively to something like Fire Emblem, like, or at least the standard Fire Emblem formula. But anyway, we've made this fight way safer than it was initially, just by making this boss not a like not crit a bunch of times. So we're gonna trying to get Feline's. Yeah, so we're pretty close actually for her. So yeah, this boss is gonna be a cakewalk now. So try to get another attack in for Feline, just so I can get her. This is up here. Look at the kill to Estrada. I can tell this guy works for Grisha. And there's going to be a couple hints later on in the story as to why exactly that's the case. I won't go into it now, but anyway, like, this map is basically free. I'm gonna send Feline to go attack this guy just so that she can get more weapon experience. But yeah, that's kind of how you deal with this map and just make it a little bit more trivialized. We're gonna move over here actually with Ryosuke to deal with a lot of these enemies. I'm gonna move, actually I'm probably gonna trade, see, pure water over here and then have Ryosuke over here. These guys are gonna start coming down. I do want to have Estrada over here doing a lot of the damage. I might just have Feline help out a bit with that. Sam goes over here and I'm going to send these guys over to do a bit of shopping. We're going to want to save a little bit of money for a character that's going to be coming up soon. So I'm going to buy a couple of items here. You can get a lot of these very powerful weapons pretty early on. We're gonna buy probably another reinforced axe, and then maybe another reinforced blade, and then we're gonna sell the red gem in a little bit, but anyways, let's just get rid of these guys over here and deal with them. Really want to get Colleen's weapon rank up. There we go. And so now she can use Smite. I don't like using up the Sun Flash too much, and I'm gonna probably put it in the convoy from now on. So Fireball broke, so now we're gonna buy another one for Strata in a little bit. So we're gonna start moving ahead over here with Ryosuke. I could probably move Nina this way. So I'm gonna sell the red gem. And we're gonna buy a couple things. Actually, the system's kind of wonky. Trying to buy several stuff. I'm gonna hold off on some of these weapons. 2, 3. This is a little bit pricey. I probably could grab the Thunderbolt right now. For Estrada. He's gonna get more weapons a little bit later on. Could also get another couple of these staffs if we wanted to. I'm not gonna grab them just because there's really no point right now. Actually, you know what I'm probably gonna do? Probably grab the Thunderbolt actually, and then just hold off on the rest, just because we do need at least 1,500 gold for a character that we're gonna be recruiting fairly soon. Now we just want to talk to these stalls over here. I do want Ryosuke to come up here because he does have a conversation with Joanna, but this is why this map's going to take a little bit longer, because I do need him to come down here as well, because there is a secret interaction that we can get for. So what we're going to do is store that. I'm going to put the light tone and use the light tone for her, and then hold off on Smite for right now. We're going to move up this way and then start moving all the other characters to grab the other stalls. So again, it's going to take a little while to get there. Okay, so we're gonna start moving characters down, and actually notice that we do have 2 separate recruitment themes. The one that you just heard is actually for characters that are originally from the currently blessed kingdoms, and so I know some people have mentioned, I guess I think that Joanna is originally from Kyofunoshima. She actually, we'll actually learn a little bit more about her. Basically right here it mentions that she has family in Grandmere as well as Kyofunoshima, and we'll learn who she's related to fairly soon. But yeah, so actually I'm going to remove these. I need to interact with some of the other ones. I'm already forgetting which ones I'm interacting with. But yeah, the idea is more that Joanna is, she was originally born in Grandmere and moved to Kyofunoshima when they lost their blessing, and so her plan was to move back at some point, but then she got captured by pirates. So we're gonna keep this up. already. No, I didn't. Grab this one. Also, speaking of Sophia, we did see her a little bit earlier. You cannot actually recruit her this early. We just had her show up just so that people could kind of become familiar with her. But she will be showing up again later on in the story, so don't worry too much about not recruiting her, I guess, this early on, just because it's not intended for you to do that. But anyway. Something else I want to point out is I actually didn't talk too much about the support system itself. We are having, or at least the support system that we implemented in this game is kind of similar to Tellius, in where characters, as long as they join each other on a map, they'll gain a certain amount of points. And for this batch of characters and anyone who's introduced in this particular batch, all their supports are going to require 9 maps to complete. And it's gonna have fewer requirements, or at least fewer maps for future units, because again, like, we're gonna have some fairly late game people. Once we go like past the summit, you're still gonna be able to recruit certain characters on those routes, so there's definitely not enough maps for you to, I guess, feasibly get everyone maxed out. So the more characters that we introduce are going to end up having, I guess, it's like more, like, I don't want to say opportunities to gain support points, but again, right now it's going to take all these characters at least 9 maps to gain supports with each other, at least of the people that you made this early on. But anyway, we're going to finish up this map and get a secret interaction with Ryosuke. that's the end of this chapter. I do want to also point out that a lot of these CGs that you're seeing might have a little bit less detail to ones, or compared to ones that'll show up a little bit later, and that's because we originally were working with FEbuilder instead of LT, and FEbuilder has this very, it's very finicky about a lot of the colors that you can use, and so you'll get some weird blocky textures trying to implement some of those. So these are kind of a relic of that time, but as we progress through the game, you're going to be seeing more detailed looking CGs going forward. But anyways, that is chapter 2, and hopefully we'll see you for the next one.